Good morning, students. I hope you're doing well. Yes, Santos Bila. So today we are going to look at our tutorial 2, which is based on the goods market. Okay. So here we are going to try and derive the equilibrium income. Here we are going to try and see what can be the change in demand or production or income, okay, given any change in our autonomous expenditures, such as consumption, investment, or government spending. However, we are going to focus more on what the tutorial is saying. For example, in our case, it might say investment. So if it says investment, we are just going to shift, or we're just going to analyze the change given, the impact given that change in investment. So let's see how does our tutorial look like, and we take it from there. Very good. Suppose investment decreases. Explain using the appropriate graph what the impact will be on equilibrium income and demand. Okay, so here I'm just going to share with you my screen. Okay, I'm going to share with you my screen. Well, for the sake of time, I've already drawn like the skeleton or the first plot where I'm going to do my analysis. All right. So as you can see, here we've got our graph where basically ZZ is equal to Y. In other words, production is equal to income. Okay, or demand is equal to production, aggregate demand. Okay, so if they say investment decreases, what does it mean? First, we have our original investment here. These basically we call it I0. It looks 10, but then it's I0. Okay, so I am going to show the decrease in investment, and we see what's going to be the real impact, on income and production, right? So if we shift, a decrease is going to basically mean a shift of this curve, downwards, or to the right. Okay, so here we've got our I2 or our I1. Okay, I'm just going to label this. Attention, if you don't label it, it's going to sort of confuse, right? And if then it comes to marking, we will not know which one has moved to where. Okay, so it is always important for you guys to label the graphs, okay, as well as show the arrows, from which you can identify whether this has gone down or up. Okay, so here we'll have our second point, right? So this is going to come exactly here. It's going to come exactly here, and we can see that, okay, our income has reduced from income 1 to income 2, okay, and also our production has reduced from Z1 to Z2. Okay, I will also show the arrows here. What does it necessarily mean? It means that a decrease in one of our autonomous expenditures is basically going to slow down our economy. Okay, is going to slow down our economy. These can happen either for investment, as the way we are here analyzing, but we can also have these for consumption, for government spending, and so on, so forth, like for example export as well. Okay, depending on what kind of the economy are we dealing with. Okay, so this is basically what we are being asked to do, or we are asked to do, like our question 1 activity A. So moving on, we will see the second one. Now, considering the following equations, C equals to autonomous C, or C, which stands for consumption, is equal to autonomous consumption plus marginal propensity to consume multiplying the disposable income. Okay, thereafter I'm just going to be calling them like YDs. Okay, given the fact that it might take me like a time for me to be calling them like the names, right, while I am deriving. And B, we have I, which is equal to autonomous I. Depending also on which market are we looking at, or on which model are we looking at, we can have basically investment not only depending on the autonomous investment, but it can also depend on something else, for example, interest rate. Okay, but in this case, just autonomous investment. And we have government spending also equals to G. We are asked to use algebra to derive the equilibrium income. Okay, there we go. I'll just write here question 2. Okay, question 2. These are givens. Okay, C equals to autonomous C plus marginal propensity to consume, YD. Okay, here we will say I is equal to I, and also government spending is equal to government spending. Depending on which type of economy or how big the economy we are dealing with, whether the economy is an open economy or a closed economy, these might change. In other words, if, for example, we are dealing with an open economy, we're going to have, for example, in our big identity, we're going to have also NX, which stands for export minus import. So, but then in this case, we're just going to, we assume that we are dealing with like a closed economy, so we don't have like the foreign like abroad, all right? So the derivation of our equilibrium income, it starts basically from here. We will just say, okay, well, let me maybe say here y is equal to like a question mark. Okay, then we will say y is equal to that big identity that we already have, right? C plus I plus G. Okay, depending on the type of the economy, these can also be plus NX. Okay, if we are dealing with an open economy, we add an X, which stands for export minus import. But then in this case that we are just dealing with like a closed economy, this is going to end here. Okay, so we'll just plug in what we have. We know now that consumption is equal to C plus CYD, right? Okay, plus I plus J. Okay, we move on. We know that YD is equal to something. Okay, I'm just going to use here as my draft. Okay, I will say YD is equal to Y minus T. Okay, well, let me even use like a different color. YD is equal to Y minus T. Okay, but again, we know that T is equal to something. Okay, in other words, like is more often to find always T equals to autonomous T, but then it's not always like that. Okay, sometimes our T can be equal to autonomous T and the tax that depends on income. So we are not going to ignore this because we never know whether this specifically it has that T that depends on income or not. So we are not going to ignore it. we will also say T is equal to autonomous T plus the one that depends on income. Okay, so let's just substitute here. I'll just go back to my original column. Well, my y is going to be equal to C plus C. This is going to be multiplying. Well, I will plug in like as I go, just to make it clear, like step by step, right? Y minus T. I will close the brackets, okay, plus I plus G. If the information that we have, it was saying that our T only depends on, it's only like autonomous T, then our expression was fine here. But then we don't know whether there is another text that depends on income or not. In this case, we will assume that yes, we do have another part of text that depends on income. So if we assume that there is another part of text that depends on income, okay, we have to control for that text that depends on income, all right? So in this case, I will again say then our y is going to be equal to C plus, I will just open the square bracket, okay, C, okay, in other words, let me just do this. I will first multiply the C by everything that is in the bracket. I will say plus C y, all right, minus C. These must basically multiply our expression that we already have, right? Plus Ty. Ty is the T that depends on income. Plus plus I plus J. Okay. So we are going to also distribute this. Okay. So here we will have again our y equals to C plus Cy, okay, minus Ct, okay, minus Cty. Well, this is a big Y, okay, here I made like a bit of C. It's a big Y. Cty, okay. This is going to be plus I plus J. Very good. There we go. Now it's easier. It's easy. We just have to multiply everything by y, like both sides, both sides, we're just going to group the common factors or the expressions that have common factors. In this case, we can have here our y as a common factor, so we will have y minus cy, sorry, is okay, it's fine, cy is real minus plus cty, okay, this should be equal to c plus I plus G. I'm just organizing this. Since we're coming from our identity, I'm just going to move the minus CTI to the end, right? Minus CT, minus CT. This is what I meant. There's no Y even, minus CT. So this comes to here. Then, all right, we can call all these part, this one, okay, as autonomous expenditure because they do not depend on anything else rather than autonomous or themselves, right? So I will call them Y, A, denoting in this case autonomous. I'm just going to change the color, okay, and say A, which means autonomous is going to be C, is going to be C plus I plus G minus CT, right? So whenever we say autonomous, it must come to your mind that we mean by autonomous C plus I plus G minus CT. Okay, let's move on. So here we are just going to, because we are interested in deriving equilibrium income, not all these expression, we will just factorize the common factor, okay, which is, if we do so, okay, we will have let me just go back to my original column. We will have y, okay, this is the first thing, multiplying, in this case, 1, okay, this should multiply 1 minus c, okay, minus c plus ct plus ct, okay, this should be equal to a, because we've already assumed that a denotes c plus I plus g minus ct, right? But our major interest is to get rid of these, and we remain with only y, okay? So we can rearrange these and say y, okay, let's just factorize again, okay, y can be multiplying 1, okay, I'm just going to use a square bracket, 1 minus c, okay, here open, the curved bracket, 1 minus t, and I close it, I close the square bracket, this should be equal to a, okay, and since we are just looking for y, we're going to move the other part to the right hand. This is going to be equal to, let me just write the division line. I'm just going to write the division line. Okay, so this is going to be 1, okay, dividing 1 minus c, okay, 1 minus t, and we close the bracket, right? So this should basically multiply a, okay, so this is our expression for the equilibrium income. I'm just going to use a different color, okay, I'm just going to use a different color. This is our expression for the equilibrium income, right? 2, we know that this is our multiplier, so we can always say, okay, it's fine, our m, which is the multiplier, m is going to be equal to, I'm just going to write the division line. I'm just going to write the division line. It's going to be 1 dividing 1 minus c, 1 minus t. Okay, so this is our multiplier. Okay, the question can be, all right, but then in our textbook we have different multiplier. In fact, this is what basically I was saying earlier on. Depending on the type of the givens that we have, for example, text or imports, our multiplier can change. If you go to a textbook, for example, you will see that in most of the cases, our m, which is the multiplier in most of the cases, is equal to, I'm just going to write a division line, is equal to 1 dividing 1 minus c, just this. Okay, but when does this happen? This happens only if our text is equal to autonomous text. Okay, if our text is equal to autonomous text plus text that depends on income, basically our multiplier changes drastically from 1 over 1 minus c to 1 over 1 minus c, 1 minus 1 minus t. Okay, the same with imports. If we had imports in our economy, our multiplier was also going to change. Okay, but then we will see this as we go. So this is what basically we wanted to do, wanted to derive. Okay, so let's move on to see, I think this is question 3. Well, assume a simple economy with only consumption, investment, and government spending. Further, suppose the marginal propensity to save, okay, S is equal to 0.2. I will just be doing this here. Okay, I'll go to my original color. Okay, question 3. Question 3. They are saying here that S, okay, we have got an economy that has got, okay, Y, which is our economy, is going to be equal to C plus, is going to be equal to, C plus I plus G. Okay, it is a simple economy with only these sectors. Okay, so where our marginal propensity to save, which is S, is going to be equal to 0.2. Okay, then let's keep on reading. Autonomous consumption is equal to 80. This is C equals to 80. This is in rands. Okay, we'll keep on reading. Investment is equal to 100. Okay, so investment is equal to 100, and government spending also equals to 100. Okay, I will say investment equals to government spending is equal to 100. Okay, and tax equals to 100 plus 0.15y. All right, so this is what we have. What are they saying now? They are saying calculate the size of the multiplier. Now we know that the multiplier is equal to, I'm just going to come here and get it. This is our multiplier, right? This one. So I will say, okay, it's fine. Now I know that M, which is the multiplier. Okay, well, fine. I will say A, the size of M, okay, which is the multiplier. Okay, and I know that M is equal to, just going to the division line. I'm just going to write the division line. 1 over 1 minus C, 1 minus T. I close the bracket. That means our M is going to be equal to, I'm going to write the division line. Okay, so this is going to be 1, okay, dividing 1 minus, okay, here we've got a problem. What is the problem, first of all, is that here we have C part in our multiplier, but we are given S. This is the marginal propensity to save. We know from now that S, which is the marginal propensity to save, plus C, which is the marginal propensity to consume, these two should be equal to 1. Okay, so that means for this matter that whether you are looking for marginal propensity to save or you are looking for marginal propensity to consume, you are just going to say is equal to 1 minus that thing. In other words, our marginal propensity to consume, okay, in other words, C is the same as marginal propensity to consume. Just for now, I will use it the way I'm reading is marginal propensity to consume, MPC, is equal to 1 minus marginal propensity to save, MPS. I'm writing this just to make sure that this does not become confusing at all. Okay, so here our MPC MPC is going to be equal to 1 minus, we already have here the marginal propensity to save, which can be denoted as S. Okay, 0.2. That means our MPC, okay, MPC is going to be equal to 0.8. Okay, it's going to be 0.8. Then we come here, I'm just going to change the color. Then we come here, we say minus 0.8, okay, multiplying 1 minus 0.15. All together, guys, I hope so. All right, so there we go. 1 minus 0.15, just going to use here my calculator. 1 minus 0.15 is 0.85. Okay, 0.85 multiplied by 0.8, 0.068. Okay, 1 minus 0.68, 0.32. That means 0.32. Okay, so I will say 1 divided by 0.32. This is going to be equal, that means the size of M of our multiplier is 3.125. So this is our multiplier. This is our multiplier. Okay, very good. What does B say? What does B say? Let's say B. I'm just going to read it a bit. Calculate the equilibrium income. Okay, it's fine, no harm on this. We already know our M. For us, okay, here we are looking for Y is equal to question mark. Okay, and we know that Y is equal to M times A. Okay, I am just going to come here and get my A. Where is it? There we go. It's this one. Okay, so I will work out my A first. I will do it here if you don't mind. I'll just change the color. Okay, so I will say A is equal to C plus, attention, this C is not the MPC, is not the marginal propensity to consume. No. Is autonomous consumption plus I plus G minus CT. Okay, so this is going to be equal to
80 plus 100 plus 100 minus 0.8, okay, multiplying 100, okay. So if we do so, okay, other people would say, but then where is 0.15y? Again, I'm going to explain this. We cannot include the 0.15y here because we have assumed that CT is autonomous, and 0.15y is no longer autonomous, depends on income. Therefore, we used it to construct our multiplier. In other words, using this here in the multiplier, we are duplicating the values. So we are duplicating efforts. We cannot do that. Okay. So this is going to be only this portion here. 0.8 times 100 is going to be 80, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just confirm. 0.8 times 100 is going to be 8. Okay, so it's going to be minus 8 plus 8. These are symmetrics in maths. Then they cancel each other. Okay, in other words, our A is going to be 200. For that matter, then we come here and we say our equilibrium income is going to be equal to 3.125. This should be multiplying 200. Okay, I'm just going to say 200 times 3.125. This is going to be equal to 625. Oh, sorry. My y is going to be equals to 625. So this is our equilibrium income. This is our equilibrium income. Okay, let's see what does C say. Let me go. Well, calculate the disposable income. Okay, so we know that the disposable income, C says disposable income. Disposable income is YD. Okay, I'm going to try this like just to be beautiful. YD is equal to a question mark. Is equal to a question mark. So, well, as we go, I will say YD, okay, this is going to be equal to Y minus T. And we already know that our T is equal to T is equal to T plus Ty, okay? And in our givens, we also have our T is equal to 100 plus 0.15y. So the best thing here, first of all, before anything else, is for us to work out our T. I'm just going to change the color and say T is going to be equal to okay, just to make sure this, I would say T plus Ty. Okay, so T is going to be equal to 100, okay, plus 0.015 y. Okay, so T is going to be equals to 100 plus 0.15 multiplying 625. Okay, this should be equal to 193.75. So this is our T. Then we can again come here. I'm just going to change the color and go to my original color. Okay, so my YD is going to be equal to 265 minus 193 3.75. Okay, I'm just going to do this. All right, then this should be equal to my disposable income should be equal to 431.25. So this is my disposable income. This is my disposable income. Very good. So let's go now and see D. What does it say? Well, A, B, C. Well, suppose autonomous T decreases by by 50%. Okay. Calculate the new income level following the decrease in tax. Well, here we are just going to say this. I will just increase a bit my well, oh my gosh, I don't know what I did. I'm going to do this. Well, okay, I will just use this space. It looks like I don't have space anymore. I will use this space here. So it says I will just write here D. I'll write here D. We will have a sort of change in income. Okay, I mean in tax. Like now, okay, tax decreases by 50%. What happens to equilibrium income? What happens to equilibrium income? Okay, well, here we've got two different ways of working this out. The first one, you will prefer to go through all the process. The second one is just to say, all right, we've got our first income. Okay, so here we can always say, what is the variation? The variation, okay, of income, okay, of income, okay, is going to be equal to the multiplier, the same multiplier, multiplying, in this case, the variation of tax. The variation of tax. The variation of tax, right? The variation of tax. Well, there we go. So here we'll say, how did it, like, it came from 0. It came from 100 to 50. Okay, so we can always work this out again. We can always work this out again. Okay, and this tax is autonomous tax. Okay, we can always work this out again. We will say, this is just 50. Is basically 0.8 multiplying 100 is going to be 40. okay, as you know. So we will say that the variation, the variation, okay, of y, okay, is going to be equal to 3.125. It should be multiplying. All right, if it decreased by 50%, we can say, all right, I will open the square bracket, 0.5, which is the 50%, multiplying, okay, multiplying 100, okay, and all these should be, wait, so it's fine, I'll use the normal brackets. 0.5 times 100, this should be times this is going to be times 100. No, times 0.8. Okay, because this is our MPC. So this is going to be 50. This is going to be 0.8. This is 40. Then you have the variation of y is going to be equal to 3.125 multiplying 40. So this is basically equal to 125. Let me just confirm. 3.125 times 40, so it's equals to 125. Okay, so this is the variation. So what we are going to do is that we will say like the new y2 is going to be equal to y1 plus the variation of y, okay, plus the variation of y, and these should be y2, sorry, well, then I will just push it. Y2 should be equal to 625 plus 125, and this should be equal to 750, like 750. Okay, so this is our new income given a change in text, given a decrease in change. The question might be, if we say an autonomous a decrease in autonomous consumption is going to increase basically our output, why is a decrease in text is increasing our output? Is because a decrease in text does not have the same impact as a decrease in other autonomous expenditures. Okay, so with this being said, we will basically end up our first part of our tutorial here, and we will have the second part of our tutorial. Please attend to both of them. Okay, I'm just going to do this. Attend to both of them so that you are up to date. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Bye bye.